Do you find yourself overthinking in social interactions? If a friend takes a long time to reply to your message, do you start wondering if you've upset them? If your boss glances at you during a meeting, do you worry that you might have done something wrong? In a romantic relationship, do you obsess over an offhand remark for days, fearing that something is wrong in the relationship? These endless interpretations and assumptions don't lead to answers. They only drag you into a cycle of self-consumption, draining your energy without yielding any real benefit. At its core, overanalyzing others' motives is a major symptom of mental exhaustion. Over time, this habit puts you in a passive state and builds invisible barriers between you and the people around you. Why does overanalyzing others' motives lead to mental exhaustion? The emotional drain of hypothetical assumptions. People who habitually interpret others' motives tend to live in a world of assumptions rather than facts. When a friend doesn't reply quickly, you might assume they dislike you. If your boss sends a serious message, you might speculate that they are dissatisfied with your work. The problem is that these assumptions are usually baseless and lean towards negative thinking. Instead of solving problems, they only increase unnecessary worries. You spend excessive time overthinking but gain no real clarity, all while depleting your emotional energy, magnifying others' actions unnecessarily. Those who overanalyze others' motives are often hypersensitive to external reactions. A missing emoji in a text message, a partner's slightly indifferent tone. Each minor detail becomes a piece in a mental chess game, endlessly analyzed and amplified. The result? Your emotions become dictated by external factors. Your happiness no longer comes from within but depends on whether others' actions align with your expectations. The moment someone acts a little distant, your sense of security crumbles, leading to self-doubt, guilt, and even anxiety. The hidden need for control behind overanalyzing. At its core, interpreting others' motives is an attempt to control situations. You believe that if you can understand others' intentions clearly, you can prevent harm and handle crises smoothly. However, real human interactions rarely have definitive answers. A friend may seem distant simply because they are exhausted. A boss may frown due to stress, not dissatisfaction. A partner's sarcastic remark might be an innocent joke rather than an attack. Constantly trying to decode and predict others' emotions for a false sense of security actually makes relationships harder to navigate. Instead of gaining control, you end up feeling even more uncertain and anxious. How overanalyzing others' motives harms relationships. It destroys trust. Healthy relationships are built on honesty and trust. When you overinterpret others' motives, you replace facts with assumptions and subjective guesses instead of genuine communication. The more you rely on assumptions to maintain relationships, the more fragile those relationships become. It's not that others are pushing you away. It's that your own mental narratives are eroding the foundation of trust. It leads to unnecessary misunderstandings. Overanalyzers easily misinterpret others due to their overactive imagination. For example, if a friend cancels a meeting, your first thought might be, "Are they mad at me?" In response, you start acting distant, unintentionally weakening the relationship. However, the truth might simply be that these misunderstandings can snowball, turning minor issues into major conflicts that could have been avoided through simple communication. It makes relationships emotionally draining. When someone is always in analysis mode, their partner, friends, and colleagues will feel drained. They have to walk on eggshells, carefully choosing their words to avoid misinterpretation. Over time, People may choose to distance themselves because being around someone who constantly questions every interaction removes the ease and relaxation that healthy relationships need. Why do people overanalyze others' motives? Lack of security. People who frequently interpret others' motives often struggle with a deep sense of insecurity or have experienced emotional neglect or betrayal. To protect themselves, they instinctively try to anticipate others' intentions. Hypersensitivity in relationships. Overanalyzers tend to be highly observant and detail-oriented, but their sensitivity makes them prone to overprocessing every interaction. This leads to unnecessary emotional amplification. People who constantly analyze others' reactions often tie their self-worth to external validation. They seek reassurance from others to confirm their value, leading to an unhealthy cycle where their emotions depend on how others respond to them. How to break free from this exhausting habit. Reject assumptions. Communicate instead of guessing. Don't fill in the blanks with your assumptions. If you're unsure about something, just ask. For example, say, "You seem a little down today. Is everything okay?" Or, "Did I say something wrong yesterday?" Direct communication is far more effective than making endless assumptions. It saves time and emotional energy on meaningful activities. Shift your attention from interpreting others' behaviors to things within your control. If a friend suddenly becomes distant, focus on improving yourself instead of trying to figure out why. If your boss frowns, work harder instead of worrying unnecessarily. Accept uncertainty. Rather than trying to control everything, embrace the fact that the world is inherently uncertain. Not every action has a deep meaning, and not every motive needs to be decoded. By allowing others to exist in an undefined state, you will feel a greater sense of freedom and ease. Conclusion. At first, overanalyzing others' motives may seem like a form of self-protection, but in the end, it becomes a mental prison. It leads to misunderstandings, erodes trust, and weakens meaningful connections. In reality, human relationships don't require endless analysis. They thrive on trust and understanding. Instead of overanalyzing, redirect your energy towards personal growth. No matter your role in a relationship, true security doesn't come from how others treat you. It comes from knowing yourself. Let go of the need to decipher others' motives and release yourself from the burden of your own thoughts.